I started. I watched The Last of Us season two, and I also started playing part two of the game. And I was avoiding part two of the game, not due to the controversy, because I thought, from what I heard, the controversy of part two was utterly retarded. Um, Not because of the controversy of part two, but because it was spoiled for me. You know, because of the controversy. Before I got to play the game, I knew Joe was murdered, and I know the manner in which he was murdered, more or less. It actually didn't play out exactly how I had thought it would. I had convoluted in my head a different scenario in which he had died. And if the scenario that I thought played out the way I thought it would, I think people would be even more outraged. Um, the scenario I played out in my head was that Ellie and Joel, they have this like father-daughter type relationship. But in my mind, I thought as Ellie would mature and become a young woman, that it would turn out that Joel had not just a feeling of a father-daughter type relationship, but I felt like Joel would have developed some kind of sexual attraction to Ellie in his demented mind, because Joel was gradually, especially after the events of part one of the Last of Us, kind of losing it in the game, and I thought they would explore that. I thought they would explore his demented mind and his deteriorating mind, and he would become more and more demented and more crazy. So I thought of a scenario that the story and the narrative could have went that would have been far worse, or was far worse in my mind than what actually happens in the narrative. I had this whole vision that this whole idea that what happened is Joel sexually assaulted Ellie, and that Abby and Ellie were a couple. They had a relationship, an intimate relationship. That Ellie was and Abby had this like lesbian relationship, and on top of Ellie being very angry and upset that Joel attempted to sexually assault her, and it she also finds out that Joe lied to her and killed the fireflies. And I thought that would have caused, with her and Abby, this kind of relationship where they would contrive um, a way to actually get back at Joel and actually murder Joel. So I thought that Joel and Abby and Ellie would have been a team in Joel's murder, and that Abby would have carried out the deed because Ellie couldn't do it, but Abby would do it. And I had this whole scenario where when Abby kills Joel, with the clubs, that she does it when they're together, and Ellie's just kind of watching, somewhat in shock, but also letting it happen, because she too, at that point, has completely, dismissed any feelings of uh, sympathy for Joel at that point. Of course, that's not how it plays out. It actually is fine and better how it plays out. Um, Joel was trying to be a good dad to Ellie. He was doing his best, and Ellie, it becomes a vengeful story about, you know, Abby had a dad that Joel killed, murdered, and she's really angry and furious, and so she's seeking vengeance for her dad's murder, and so she seeks out Joel and she kills him. And Ellie, since her dad was now murdered, Joel being her stepdad was now murdered, she's now furious. She wants to hunt down Abby to murder her. I think that's a brilliant story. And I don't understand what the issue is. Of course, after what Joel killed 17 innocent people, fireflies, who were actually doing good in the world, they were actually trying to discover and create a cure to save the world. And Joel just murders the doctor who's trying to perform the procedure, and that doctor happens to be the father to Abby. Yeah, of course people would want to kill Joel, and of course if they got in close contact with Joel, they do everything in their power to seek justice for what he done. So who is Joel? Is Joel Superman? Does like bullets just does he just soak up bullets like a sponge? Do they just bounce off him like he's invulnerable to any kind of danger? No, this story is true to life in a way that most stories are not brave enough to do. They're willing to kill off their main characters, and that's what I appreciate most about the show. It's dealing with a level of realism that is as close to being as true to life as you can possibly get. And that's fantastic. Part 2 of the game, so far, I just started the game, has been great. And season 2 of The Last of Us, so far as it, it's gone, has been great. I really don't understand the criticism. If my idea would have happened, people would have been even more outraged, even more pissed. But since it wasn't even my thought, it wasn't even as bad as I thought it would be, people are still outraged. Why? Because they killed off Joel and there's lesbians? Is that really the main criticism? That's utterly retarded. What's wrong with you people? Your people are ridiculous. Seriously. If your only criticism is they killed off Joel, which made sense to the story, to the narrative, why he would die in the manner he died, that is your criticism. And your other criticism is, oh, there's lesbians, and I don't like lesbians being shown. Is that really your criticism? Give me a break. It's awesome. It's fantastic. I'm really enjoying it. I'm really enjoying the show, and I'm really enjoying the game. And you idiots ruined it for me by being so ridiculously critical and criticizing it and ruining it and spoiling it for me before I got to enjoy it. So, screw you. That's all I have to say.